Everybody, and welcome to Hex Token channel. A big welcome from me. Woohoo! Hope you guys are doing well out there and having a good time, because it is amazing out there for us today. Man, oh man, things have been going so well. You've got to be excited. You really do. You've really got to be excited about it. 3 horns for today. Hex, Pulsechain, and Pulse Hex. We've got to do it, and of course, everyone's excited. That's the way it goes. Everyone is super excited. Hope you guys are having a good time there. Let's look at this hex price, 3.127 cents, folks. We're going to come back to that. Woohoo! In the meantime, we're going to start off with the stock market, get into crypto, then, of course, get into our awesome hex chart there, and then we're going to get into Hedron, Icosa, and, of course, some Pulsechain updates and some insights around Pulsechain project ecosystem, and then wrap up with the Hex Daily Stats. We've got a full show, folks. We've got the best case scenario playing out. I'm excited. Hope you're excited. And, of course, I got out of bed this morning and went for a walk, and it's a good thing to do. So I encourage you to do that wherever you are around the world. Go for a nice walk in the morning, even when you're half asleep. It doesn't matter. It's called a zombie walk, and do a zombie walk. Did I just make that up? I'm not sure. I think I might have just made that up. Just the way it goes. Now, let's see who is in the house there. Let's have a look. We've got a couple of people jumped in here. We've got AP in the house there. Time for a woohoo, Superman. Definitely excited. It's definitely a time for a channel chart there for sure. We got Rango in the house as well. Good to see you, Rango. And of course, let's go. Morning, all you lovely people. Now, they can't do much better than that. That's very nice, Rango. Very nice indeed. We got Sandy Beach in the house as well. Obviously, rising star on Twitter. Woohoo! Go follow Sandy Beach on Twitter there. And we've got Liza Beneath as well. Hello, how are you today? Very good. And of course, Liza always brings us the ultimate strategy of this channel. Hex, EHEX, PLS, and PLSX for the win. It's getting closer for all of that to play out. It's going to be pretty exciting. 100x, 200x, 300x, maybe 10,000x from the bottom, maybe even 14,000x from the bottom. Who knows what Pulsechain will bring, but it's going to be pretty glorious, I should suspect. It's going to be pretty amazing. JP in the house as well. Evening all. Good to see you, JB. We've got Get Hex as well. Woohoo! Getting excited. I love it. The excitement is palpable in the house today. And don't forget to subscribe on the way in. Smash that subscribe button. Hit the like button and hit the bell as well. Now, there is a poll on at the moment, so fill out the poll. I will look at that later when we wrap up the Hex section. When do you think Pulsechain Testnet V3 Proof of Stake will launch? First half of February, second half of February, first half of March, or second half of March or later. So if you're really looking at testnet a bit later, then that's for you. We've got 24 votes already. We'll check that out later on. All right, let's see who else is here. We've got a couple other people. We've got Blobfish King. G'day, everybody. I'm excited. I'm excited too. It's very exciting, man. This is playing out. I said January we'll do a window of opportunity. Now we're moving into February, and it's looking still very good. What have we got tomorrow? The tech earnings. We've got the rest of the tech earnings. That's the next big thing. And I suspect that that's going to be okay. And we could lead into the weekend very bullish indeed. It's probably going to be the case here. Get Hex as well. I will try to pop in on Let's Go, says Get Hex. Nice. We got KD in the house as well. Good to see you. Let's Go, Superman. Very excited, KD. Brendan's in the house as well. Morning, Superman and family. Good to see a pivot to 25 basis points. Still a few more months to go. I'm not sure if we will see a decrease this year in rates, but it's a good start with the lowering. Yeah. So I've been kind of bullish on that. We'll talk more about that. I kind of think we might get a pivot earlier in the September, October, rather than at the beginning of 24, which is where Brendan's indicating and where the Fed is indicating as well. Wookie's in the house there. It looks busy around here today. It has V3 launched. You would think so. It's getting, the people can sniff it in the air, that's for sure. Brendan says RSI overbought territory for 4 hour on the Hex. Could move sideways for a bit now, I suspect so. Hey, the big thing, we want to get over that resistance zone, and of course that's the title of the video. Hex prices pushing over resistance zone on great Pulsechain updates, and of course a moderate Fed outlook. So that's the way I've termed that there. Hex Force 1 in the house, big bump. Yeah, pump. It's definitely a huge pump there on the Hex price. We're going to talk about that shortly. Lau's in the house as well. Woo! Good to see you, Lau. And Dave Down Under in the house. My head is exploding. What if V3 releases in a couple of weeks? Then 2 to 3 months later, mainnet launches. I think that feels pretty good to me. I think we're going to expect at least several months for the testnet would be my expectation. I've got minimum 6 weeks, so we'll see how we get on there. Hey, everybody. Now, you'd only do a minimum 6 weeks if everything was running super smooth and it was operating pretty well. So maybe 2-3 months there. Some people have longer, of course. We'll see. Some people have more, 2 to 6 months out there. Hello, Hex Token. Everybody says Sandy Beach. Good to see Sandy Beach. Humberto as well. The Hex price pump is due to the RH announcement, says Humberto. Very, very true. Always a pleasure. Pablo in house there. Woo! Getting excited. I'm excited too. And of course, cheers from sunny Miami there from Humberto as well. Pulse Bezos said V3 could launch in June. It could do that. That's the first half of the year. That's still in my time frame that I've been having on this live stream for sure. And of course, Jack Hack says Hex price target on mainnet launch. Can I drag this out here? Hey, look, I've talked about this before. Definitely 10 cents is doable, but all the way up to 20 cents. That's kind of my frame there. But 10 to 15 cents pretty good. 20 cents definitely doable there. We could see millions of dollars flow into the liquidity pool. Remember with the AMM, once you start getting the price moving up, it goes up sort of faster. So just like it goes down faster. And of course, the smaller liquidity pool, the faster that goes versus a fat liquidity pool. So that's pretty cool too. All right, let's get into it, folks. How long? We're 6 minutes, 7 minutes into it. Let's get into today's live stream. And of course, the stock market today. Dow ends flat as Fed hikes. Meta soars on Q4 results. I thought this was kind of a bit of a downer title given the results today. The Dow was pretty flat, but the tech stocks, S&P 500 and that were doing pretty well as NASDAQ. So let's have a look at the indicators. We've got the Dow Jones Industrials. This is the top 30 industrial firms in the United States. It is flat at 7 points increase there, 34,094. The S&P 500, however, is up 1%, almost 43 points to 4,119. And the big mover, 2% on the NASDAQ with all the tech companies, 232 points up to 11,816, almost back over 1,200. You can sort of taste it. Maybe it will do tomorrow if we get some really good results there tomorrow. That is pretty much it. The dollar, of course, with the risk on, the markets were up, and of course the US dollar was down almost 1%, down at 100.957, and the dollar index versus its trading partners. The commodities, Brent oil was pretty flat at $83, and West Texas there looks up slightly up 15 cents at $76.84. Look like they're still open at the moment. Gold is up $1.65, but basically flat at $1,968. Silver at up 2.5 cents. And that's at $24.10, so back over $24. Nice to see silver move there. So let's get into the commentary. The Dow Jones closed flat Wednesday as investors weighed up the Federal Reverse's weighed up the Federal Reverse's widely expected quarterly point rate hike. Guess it's supposed to say Federal Reserve widely expected quarter point rate hike, and the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell lack of push back on the recent rally in stocks and easing financial conditions. So obviously not more hawkish as a result of that. The Fed downshifted to a 0.25% hike on Wednesday from a 0.5% increase in December. I remember we had those 75 basis points, then 50 basis points in December. And then, of course, we've got down to 25 now. So heading in the right direction, slowing down those rate of hikes. And, of course, we're expecting only a few more. And suggested more hikes were ahead. So particularly that would be March, and the next one, I think, May. So that's kind of the play there. So it looks like we probably will get to maybe get to 5.25%. But Powell didn't push back as much as expected against the recent easing in financial conditions, saying the Fed's focus is not on short-term moves, but on sustained changes to the broader financial conditions. And that's what I've been saying. The trend has been our friend over the last 4 months, and this is boding well for us. This is boding well. Now they're going to look month by month, right? So they're going to look at, I think they've got two more reports coming in for CPI and employment. And so before they do their March hikes, and of course in March, they'll also have new S&P updates and new forecasts. They didn't have that this time, but they'll have that in March. Also, the minutes from the meetings that they had for this meeting will be out in about 3 weeks' time. So that will also be of interest to the market also. The positive market reaction reflected relief from market participants, that there wasn't a hawkish pushback on the recent loosening of financial conditions. On the economic front, data continued to show the labor market running hot. Of course, this is one of the three sectors, so still a big deal. So remember, we've got the goods market inflation they're looking at. That has been in disinflation. We've got the housing services market that is looking to have a bit more inflation in it, but is showing cracks in it, and expected that to pull back. And then, of course, you've got the third big one there, the non-housing services market. This is the one that's really been of focus for the Federal Reserve, and that is still being pretty stubborn, right? We have seen a little bit of movement in the wages and stuff, but demand is pretty high still for jobs, even with the tech companies rolling over some jobs, but it's still, that's the area that's of concern. And why is that such a big area? Well, it's still about 56% of the PCE, the personal consumption expenditure. I mean, we talked about that the other day. So this is the one that the real Fed's watching. And of course, it came in at 4.4% on the core. And of course, looking to take that down. Obviously, they want the inflation rate to get down to a target of 2%. So this is kind of where they're heading now. And it's been heading in that direction for about 4 months. So it's going in the right direction on the inflation. But that third sector, about 56% of the PCE, is the one that's stubborn. So we'll be watching that from month to month. But once again, they'll have 2 more reports to take into account when they do their March update. Without a substantial reduction in labour demand, the Fed will not be comfortable pausing, let alone cutting rates. So without a substantial reduction in labour demand, the Fed will not be comfortable pausing, let alone cutting rates. We did see, I think it was yesterday, the consumer confidence had fallen. That is, the Fed likes that because obviously the businesses and consumers are still sitting with a lot of savings, net savings on the sidelines. And of course, the reducing confidence means there's likely less spend, less demand means less pressure on prices, and of course, supply can catch up. So that's the one thing we don't talk a lot about with this is supply. Now, obviously, there's also a side benefit, right? If you do get lower inflation, then often can spur some degree of economic growth as well. So it's pretty interesting there. Now, one of the things he did say was about the possibility of a soft landing, more softer landing, and that's good news. Just a possibility, not probability, but possibility of a course of a softer landing. That's kind of good news. I think the market liked that too. Now, Treasury yields slipped further into the red, helping technology catch a bit ahead of quarterly results from Meta Platforms. So we're going to get into tech. Before we do that, though, let's shout out. We've got Toby Wands in the house there. Appreciate your contributions. Hey, big shout out, Toby Wan. I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before. Good to see you, Toby Wan, and appreciate the super sticker as well. Let me find that. I think that's that one here. So a big shout out, Toby Wan. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hey, look, day in and day out, we're all on the same journey, and of course, we're enjoying it. It's going to be the journey of a lifetime, I think, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So big shout out there. Thanks, Toby Wan. So yeah, pretty exciting. Let's get into the Fed meeting. So this is about 7 minutes long. So if you missed this, hope you're going to enjoy this. This is just the speech that Jerome Powell did, and listen very closely. As you know, this is a bit of more of a we like to focus on crypto and value on this channel. We don't focus on drama. We try to keep a family channel as well. Those are sort of a core tenets. We try to do that as best as possible. But we also like to get on education. And of course, that's why we cover the stock market and of course the commodities and things like that, so that people get a better understanding of what's going on. And ultimately, crypto is an environment that's moving from zero money to more expensive money. And that has an impact as well as a reduction in M2 money supply and things like that. So we're going to get into that. Here is the Fed speech. So it's about 7 minutes long. So I hope you guys enjoy this.
Good afternoon and welcome. My colleagues and I understand the hardship that high inflation is causing, and we are strongly committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal. Over the past year, we've taken forceful actions to tighten the stance of monetary policy. We've covered a lot of ground, and the full effects of our rapid tightening so far are yet to be felt. Even so, we have more work to do. Price stability is the responsibility of the Federal Reserve and serves as the bedrock of our economy. Without price stability, the economy does not work for anyone. In particular, without price stability, we will not achieve a sustained period of labor market conditions that benefit all. Today, the FOMC raised our policy interest rate by 25 basis points. We continue to anticipate that ongoing increases will be appropriate in order to attain a stance of monetary policy that is sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2% over time. In addition, we are continuing the process of significantly reducing the size of our balance sheet. Restoring price stability will likely require maintaining a restrictive stance for some time. I will have more to say about today's monetary policy actions after briefly reviewing economic developments. The U.S. economy slowed significantly last year, with real GDP rising at a below-trend pace of 1%. Recent indicators point to modest growth of spending and production this quarter. Consumer spending appears to be expanding at a subdued pace, in part reflecting tighter financial conditions over the past year. Activity in the housing sector continues to weaken, largely reflecting higher mortgage rates. Higher interest rates and slower output growth also appear to be weighing on business fixed investment. Despite the slowdown in growth, the labor market remains extremely tight, with the unemployment rate at a 50-year low, job vacancies still very high, and wage growth elevated. Job gains have been robust, with employment rising by an average of 247,000 jobs per month over the last 3 months. Although the pace of job gains has slowed over the course of the past year and nominal wage growth has shown some signs of easing, the labor market continues to be out of balance. Labor demand substantially exceeds the supply of available workers, and the labor force participation rate has changed little from a year ago. Inflation remains well above our longer-run goal of 2%. Over the 12 months ending in December, total PCE prices rose 5.0%. Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 4.4%. The inflation data received over the past 3 months show a welcome reduction in the monthly pace of increases. And while recent developments are encouraging, we will need substantially more evidence to be confident that inflation is on a sustained downward path. Despite elevated inflation, longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored, as reflected in a broad range of surveys of households, businesses, and forecasters, as well as measures from financial markets. But that's not grounds for complacency. Although inflation has moderated recently, it remains too high. The longer the current bout of high inflation continues, the greater the chance that expectations of higher inflation will become entrenched. The Fed's monetary policy actions are guided by our mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship as it erodes purchasing power, especially for those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials like food, housing, and transportation. We are highly attentive to the risks that inflation poses to both sides of our mandate, and we are strongly committed to returning inflation to our 2% objective. At today's meeting, the committee raised the target range for the federal funds rate by 25 basis points, bringing the target range to 4.5% to 4.75%. And we are continuing the process of significantly reducing the size of our balance sheet. With today's action, we have raised interest rates by 4.5 percentage points over the past year. We continue to anticipate that ongoing increases in the target range for the federal funds rate will be appropriate in order to attain a stance of monetary policy that is sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2% over time. We are seeing the effects of our policy actions on demand in the most interest-sensitive sectors of the economy, particularly housing. It will take time, however, for the full effects of monetary restraint to be realized, especially on inflation. In light of the cumulative tightening of monetary policy and the lags with which monetary policy affects economic activity and inflation, the committee decided to raise interest rates by 25 basis points today, continuing the step down from last year's rapid pace of increases. Shifting to a slower pace will better allow the committee to assess the economy's progress toward our goals, as we determine the extent of future increases that will be required to attain a sufficiently restrictive stance. We will continue to make our decisions meeting by meeting, taking into account the totality of incoming data and their implications for the outlook for economic activity and inflation. We have been taking forceful steps to moderate demand so that it comes into better alignment with supply. Our overarching focus is using our tools to bring inflation back down to our 2% goal and to keep longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Reducing inflation is likely to require a period of below-trend growth and some softening of labor market conditions. Restoring price stability is essential to set the stage for achieving maximum employment and stable prices over the longer run. The historical record cautions strongly against prematurely loosening policy. We will stay the course until the job is done. To conclude, we understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission. We at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you.
So there we are, folks. That is the speech, and I posted the full video on the channel, so you can check out the whole video, including the Q&A. So definitely check that out. Very, very cool. So yeah, like I say, reasonably modest outlook, and of course maybe one or two more rate rises, subject to the numbers each month that come in, and so they're slow and steady on it. The trend has been our friend the last 4 months. Like I say, the goods market has been good, disinflationary. The property market looks like it's going to peak out, and then it's got some fractures in it, and that will become deflationary, with obviously interest rates having a bigger impact over time. And then, of course, the non-services, non-house services sector is the one that they're really looking at, which is about 56% of the PCE. So they've got two more inflation data pieces and employment data coming in before the March, so that they can assess. So we're looking forward to that. So that's pretty much there. Let's get into some of the comments before we move into the text stuff. We've got a couple of people in the house there. Umberto says, smash the likes buttons, folks. Let's support Superman. He's been out there every day through thick and thin, motivating our community. Absolutely, Umberto. Day in and day out. We love it. I'm on the same journey as you guys. It's just that simple, and might as well YouTube it, right, while I'm on it. Justin's in the house there. The longer I have to wait, the better I wait. The way I see it, I have more time to stack cheddar for the initial PLS dip. I like that, Justin. Yeah, there's always dips in the games. Always dips in the games. Brennan says, is that nice one, Toby? Yeah, nice one there from Toby for the super sticker there. Toby One says, would like to see what he thinks of my TA tweet last night. Yeah, I have pulled that up, Toby One, during the video, so I will have a quick check of that when we get up to the Hex price, which has been pumping, obviously. Toby One, hi everybody. Brennan says $10 to $12. That would be mind-blowing, says Toby. I'm going to get into that later on. And of course, Christian's in the house there. Hello, familiar. Good to see you, Christian. Great expectations, all around good news today. Yeah, really great news today of significance. Today is a significant day on the Hex chart in particular. Hex passing through 3.1, absolutely. And the Pulse Tube in the house there, big shout out. Don't forget to check out the Pulse Tube. LFG, definitely Pulse Tube. Who else is here as well? I'm going to jump through some of these. Boo the Fed, says Peso Dude. Boo the Fed. Yeah. I agree with that. We all hate the Fed now. Justin says, let's replace this dude with RH, says Justin. With the Chairman Powell, yeah. Property Review says, inflation here, there, and everywhere, says Property Review. Definitely is. Now, eggs, of course, has been the big talk of the town, isn't it? Eggs, inflation's insane in the braino. And Kiwi land here in New Zealand, it is terrible. You can hardly get any eggs, and they're now really expensive. It's just crazy. These people don't know what they're doing. As I always say, we've got absolute idiots running the place. Kate Figure says, hey Superman, hope you are well and all except you know who. Says Kate Figure. Are you talking about rags to riches? You're talking about rags to riches? Not sure. Ramon's in the house there. In other words, we are going to keep lying to you about everything and robbing you blind through monetary policy, says Ramon. Is one way of looking at it there, lies beneath. Genuine's in the house there. Let's go. Hey, Kate Figure as well. We got Kate Figure. Hey, Kate Figure. Always a pleasure. Great to see you in the chat there. Looking forward to the cruise, the Hex cruise there. What did you say it was? Did you say it was February, March? March, I think maybe. Let me know. Again, I always forget that when the Hex cruise is on. We've got Terry Docks in the house as well. And of course, Kate Figure says, no, not rags, not rags. I like rags, says Kate Figure. That's hilarious. All right, let's get into the rest of the commentary about the stock market. Treasury yields slip further into the red. Of course, helping tech catch up a bit ahead. Well, I can't even read this part. Helping technology catch a bit ahead of quarterly results from Meta Platforms due after the US markets closed. And of course, Meta surged in after-hours trading after reporting beat quarterly on the bottom line and unveiling a $40 billion stock buyback program. OMG, look at that, crazy. Rising semiconductors played a role in boosting tech, driven by more than 12% surge in advanced micro devices as chipmaker reported better than expected results. Sentiment on the chipmaker is expected to face headwinds from a competitive landscape in PC and a correction in data center as well, though remains constructive in the stock. So we remain constructive on the stock given our expectation for a significant market share expansion of server CPUs and potential for margin improvements in the second half of 23 and 24, driven by higher volumes and better mix versus the first half of 23 with idiosyncratic in nature. I think we're going to jump past the snap part there. Energy was the only sector in the red, falling more than 2% as oil prices fell after US weekly crude stockpiles increased it more than expected, and OPEC and its allies stuck with their output policy unchanged. Why wouldn't they not? Higher prices is better for them. No surprise there. We're going to jump through all these others here. We're going to get into consumer spending patterns appear better, and even EA is doing well there, so that's kind of cool. We're going to pivot away from the stock market now. We're going to get into crypto. So stock market obviously doing pretty well, and of course on that moderate Fed outlook, and of course 25 basis points. The BTC decided to move up to 23,702, up 2.36%. ETH at 1628. I think that if we get some good tech results tomorrow, we could have a really nice rest of the week for crypto. Looking pretty good there. ETH at 1628, $2.75, and BNB at 1.26% at $316. Very, very cool. The stables are stable, except for USDC is at a discount. 0.987. It's on the peg. It's trouble holding the peg there on the USDC. But it's sad to see that, actually, to be honest. But we had quite a few other moves here. Matic on Polygon up 6.7%. Bring on Pulsechain. And of course, Aave there as well is up 5.5%, $87. What are some of the other standouts that we've got here on the crypto? We've got the metaverse doing pretty well there with Mana. That's at $6.57. What else? Solana's still not doing too much there. 3.69. Not quite full on green anyway. $24.91 though. Still holding up pretty nicely there as well. And I think that's some of the highlights that I wanted to point out. So that is it. Oh yes, one last thing was Litecoin. Litecoin is up 6.27% at $100 on the old Litecoin. So there we are, folks. That is what's been going on there. Let's have a quick look at the BTC though. This is Bitcoin with Coinbase. And of course, you can see back in time when we had our two tops here on the old Bitcoin, we had the death cross here, the golden cross, and the death cross. And of course, the golden cross there when the 100-day moving average, simple moving average, moves over the 200 moving day. Interesting little point there. Really was pretty close to the top of this move, and down it came. And that was the cross there. It looks like we're potentially moving into a cross here as well. However, there's some differences. And that is that the 200-day rolling average there, which was a bullish sign for Bitcoin, is also moving up. So as opposed to this time, it was moving down before it moved up, had a little bit of a dip. And of course, with that steep price rise in Bitcoin, we had the 100-day moving average flying up there and got a golden cross. We may very well get that too. If we do get the golden cross, will that be the end of this move? Or we're going to move up and consolidate, move up and consolidate? I suspect, I'm still not confident that we're quite out of the woods yet on this one. But I think crypto is going to perform particularly well versus stock market. The stock market's going to be, I think, more impacted by the real economy. I think we're going to probably have a slightly softer landing than people expected. But I think the real economy will flow into the stock market results because they have to report, costs and revenue and all sorts of stuff, productivity, and obviously interest rates impact their valuations as well. Whereas in the crypto market, we don't have a lot of those issues. As long as people have got money on the sidelines, as long as they've got jobs, then we've got assets and incomes. And of course, people can speculate on better returns in the market in crypto, so risk on times. So I think that's boding pretty well, especially if we get the terminal rate by, say, March or May. That would be pretty cool. So at this, I'd be very carefully just looking at this golden cross in particular, but BTC looking pretty good at the moment. Let's jump into Nomics, have a quick look. We're at 1.11 trillion on the global market cap. That's pretty cool. And of course, let's have a look at the big standout performers in the top 100 today. Let's scroll all the way back there. I'm going to have a look at Hex. Hex has moved up one spot to 21, and of course up 16%. Woohoo! Bring on the big double digits. It's pretty exciting to see that. Now we're going to scroll through some of these top 100, have a quick look to see if there's any really outstanding performers. Synthetic Networks there, up 16%. In the top 100 here on nomics.com, 70% on Arweave there. What else is looking pretty impressive? Loopring up 12%, Mask Network up 16% there. That's the top 100. Those are the big movers and shakers. And Convex Finance moved in there, up 6 spots in the top 100, and that is up 11% there. So I haven't actually seen that one. The reason why I like going through these every so often is to point out some of the projects, maybe in the top 200-300, that may be of value over time. So something maybe you want to check out and see what you think. Now, one of the big things that we had, obviously, with this news is the gas prices. The GWEI has been insane. Look at this. This is the last day on Ethereum here. Look at this gas spike here. I was looking. It looked like we're back in the bull market with $50 swap fees for Uniswap and higher, depending on where we were. It was pretty crazy. And we're back down here at the moment. Looks like we're back down around about 25 GWEI. But really is transformational on the swap cost. Really is a big deal there. So nice to see us coming down here. But look at that thing. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. And of course, really insane. And the membrane says here, max 200, minimum 12 GWEI. And that's pretty insane with the average still around 16 to 25 in the average zone there. So pretty insane in the membrane on the old gas fees there. Now, Ethereum itself is deflationary, net deflationary as we like to say it. And of course, 6,317 ETH is negative now since they forked the block back on the 15th September there. You can see they rose up. They've had, this is the third time. Look at this. Look at that chart. OMG. OMG, look at that chart. And obviously, we know that Zen has been one of the big contributors to deflation on the old Ethereum network. And of course, it would be nice to get some of that on the Pulsechain. Now, we're agnostic about what's burning fees on Pulsechain. We don't care. I don't care. Do you care? I don't care. So whatever's making volume on Pulsechain, bring it on. Bring it. I don't care. I just want people to use the chain, utilize the chain, and get that utilization up and congestion in the place. And of course, the price of Pulse goes up, and the GWEI probably it gets more expensive, and that's good. We get a valuable chain. That's what we want. So all the better. All right, so that's pretty cool. Now we're going to jump over to this. I thought this was pretty cool artwork here. This is from Congo, the Hexkin artist, and of course this is the ultimate. Look at this. We got Pulsex here, Pulsechain, and of course Pulsex there. I've seen a lot of the sort of digital artwork around that people have been doing. And obviously, some people are using AI to do it. Very, very nice. I like this sort of cool. And spaceships and ladies in this case is pretty neat out there. So yeah, feel free to post stuff in Discord. Maybe in the I'm trying to think where in the Discord. Some places in Discord if you find any particularly cool art that you find there on Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Hex. But it is a lot of fun for sure. I really do think this kind of stuff does do very well on Twitter and places like that. Because it captures the eye, which is what you want to do there. Very, very exciting. Now we're going to get to Hex, folks. Woohoo! Heck, doggy dog. Here we go, folks. It is amazing on the old Hex price here. Amazing on Hex price here. Look at this thing. Just insane in the membrane. Look at this thing, man. This is just crazy good. I mean, it is just marvelous, really. So we got the Hex 177. You guys know I've been talking about this for some time, and of course we had our resistance here zone. It's pretty much a zone of about 2.8 cents to 3.1 cents, and we have just popped through that. We're almost at 3.2 cents. That is very exciting. 3.3 is kind of the next stop there. It's a very weak stop, but 3.3 cents we're pretty nice. Now, where do I see the zone here? Zone, I'm really looking at 3.6 to 3.8 cents. That'd be a very nice strong move. That's kind of once it consolidates after breaking through this resistance. So this is our zone here, 2.8, and then of course up to 3.1, which is up just about here. So we've popped through that. Very, very cool. And of course the market knows what it's doing there from the looks of it for finally. And we've beaten this downward resistance here, this local downward resistance from our previous two tops. We had 5 cents, and of course we had back here at about 7.4 cents as well. So these two tops that's very exciting. Now, the next phase, of course, I see after maybe a bit of consolidation, a bit of profit taking, is to get back up to try and target this 3.6 to 3.8 cents. And of course, the middle point there being 3.7. After that, I see the next point at 4.3 cents. And then, of course, targeting the 5 cent mark. That's sort of the next logical targets there. And that would match up with the Fibonacci as well. So that's kind of where I see that going. And very exciting, man. This is a great day. This is a significant day on the Hex chart for sure. And things are just winding up now. So very excited to see that play out. Did like the timing of Richard's updates today. They were pretty good too. Wink, wink, as we say. Wink, wink. That's pretty cool on there. Looking really, really good. There's nothing much else to say about that, right? We've got some nice volume in there as well. Let's have a look at the RSI. We had this nice, bullish divergence played out with the volume and, of course, the RSI here. And, of course, away we go. We're still only at 65 on the daily, so we've got plenty of room to move. We could target that 3.6 to 3.8. Maybe a little bit of consolidation. The problem that we've had, of course, is that the price moves up a couple of, 0.2 of a cent, and then we get profit takers on there with all the speculators play. And of course, but now they've been blocked out, right? And all those whales that sold on us, all those whales, those 3 big whales that we had over the last couple of weeks that sold of us, all locked out now with the price going up. That's the only way you lock out those whales, unless because they have to pay a lot more to get back in if they so decide. Hey, look, they made good cash. They cashed out on the way. That's just the way it goes. And of course, you've got to ride through that over time. Bitcoin had to do it. Ethereum had to do it. It's just the way it is. We got almost 3.2 cents. We were watching this very, very nice here. And of course, we have closed the day. Our day candle closed above the resistance zone, and that's good news for us. And of course, now we've just got to see it consolidate or move up slightly higher. Like I say, to 3.3, maybe 3.4. But 3.6 to 3.8 is the next target after that. Very, very exciting. So looking good. Now let's have a quick look at the Whalebot over the last 24 hours. I'm going to get into the comments in a second. Let's get into the Whalebot last 24 hours. We haven't actually got many movements here. We had 3 million Hex stake for 555. That is what Hex is all about. Check out hex.com in the video description. And of course, 5555 is the maximum period that you can stake. 15.2 years, 350 T-shares there with 3 million Hex. Well done to that player there. Very, very nice to see. And of course, getting T-shares is going to be much harder after the 16th of February. 600 Hex per T-share is the increase on the 16th. So these people are very smart getting those T-shares nice and early. Very, very cool. The T-share is waiting for nobody. So it's going to go up dramatically over time. And so just remember that. This one here, 15 hours ago, 21 million Hex. Got a massive reward, 110% here, 800 days. So a really nice old stake here. And came out with a beautiful reward, 23 million Hex. So that's pretty exciting. Except there's any comments on that. What a trooper, well done, like a boss. The Hex, lol, Hex will never go up, says Bob. Bob there. Now we're going to get to hold that thought there from Bob. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And of course, you guys know I focus on circulating supply as well as a medium long-term indicator. 70 million Hex here staked for 32 days. Very cool. There's one of our short stakers again. Then we had some little bit of penalties here for us today. Someone early in stake with a negative ROI of 8.3%, 805 days over 1,700 days. So these people are probably selling into the pump, right? That's probably what they're doing, early in staking and selling into the pump. So that's we do get that, right? That's what we're going to get a lot of penalties subject to the price. That's what I said. I'm expecting a lot of penalties, as you guys know, in 24, 25, 26. Because if we get that big price pump, that next big bull market, there's going to be a lot of penalties as well. A lot of people early in staking, a lot of those 2029, 2030 stakes, you're going to see a lot of them early in stake for the price gain. They'll forego the yield, just the way it goes sometimes. There's a certain percentage of people that will do that, particularly if we get up to very high prices on Hex there. So that's the Hex Whalebot. Let me just close down a few of these sites. Let's close those down. And of course, let's get to the big news today. So we're getting to the main event though. And before we do that, let's check in on some of the comments. I don't want to get too far ahead of the chat group. Let us find where we go. Let's go all the way back up here. We got up to Hex Cape Furgo. I think we're up to. Let me just go. Kate Figure says the Hex Cruise is in April. We'll be doing some giveaways. Okay, April is the Hex Cruise. That's going to be a blast, man. Honestly, the Hex Cruise will be so much fun. If you have a PO box, man, let me know, and I'll let you send you some merch too. Nice one, that Kate Figure. Yeah, I don't have a PH box, but we could catch up on that one. Do appreciate that. Open Your Mind says, should I buy it? Says Open Your Mind. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. We don't do investment advice on this channel, so you must, take into account what you're going to do. We do talk about what's going on. That's pretty much it. Xenologist is in house there. I watched Zen Zoo and Joe Blau today. Phoenix looks great. Yeah, I only started watching that video. But there was so much news on the Hex Pulsechain that I had to stop. I'll watch that later on. Lau's in the house there. The sacrifice for internet money wallet that ended a couple of weeks ago, is that for ETH chain and separate from the Binance? Yeah, it's actually multi-chain for the internet money wallet. That was a multi-chain sacrifice. The first sacrifice was for Pulsechain, and the second one was for multi-chain. Everyone that did the Pulsechain one got a copy on their multi-chain, and so that was pretty cool. Yeah, Q1 I think is still the launch for that wallet. I know that they're going to be doing IM on Ethereum, but the actual wallet for WD token is Q1, I believe, is the launch for that. The wallet is currently still in beta, if I remember rightly. My January bounce wasn't that much of a bounce. Escape. Yeah, well, just hold the course. Hold the course. A Brazilian howl, say Briz. Always a pleasure. Go Hex. Definitely go Hex. It is very cool to see you. And of course, good luck. Was it Xenologist says good luck ending your Hex stake today. That's true. That's true. There's a few couple that have done it. That's for sure. Hopefully Mad Gains are not too far away, says Kate Figure. Well, Mad Gains today, the chart speaks for itself. Significant move on the chart today, breaking through that resistance zone, 2.8 to 3.1. And let's see where it goes from here. I think that it's so positive, the environment now. It's going to be, I feel it's going to keep going up there. QQ's and house says the higher the ETH gas prices fees, the more people will flood into Pulse. That's true. What's up from Tintop? Hey Tintop, what's up? Brazil said very nice artwork regarding those three ladies with the Pulsechain, PulseX, and Hex. They definitely were. I like that sort of stuff. It really does capture people's attention. Yes, ladies are cool. Yes, ladies are cool, Sandy Beach. You're one of them. And Zen will be one of the biggest Pulsechain burners, if you understand. Yeah, well, I think it's a good chance of that. And like to see heaps of projects. It's going to be glorious on Pulsechain. It will be a lot of fun. Acapella goes in the house there. Hi, friends, Superman. Your horn is scaring my cats. Is it? Is your cats? Did they run? StakeX says that the Fed may have thrown us a bone, but we need something far more organic to call the end of the bear. I agree with you on that one. Even though we saw the Bitcoin has broken that downtrend, I still think that we've seen this before. We come down, we have a nice big rally, and then come back down again, move sideways for a while, but so far so good. There is a lot more players in the market. You've got to remember that there are a lot more players, and the institutional investors. I still think that's relatively early in the adoption for institutional investors. I think it takes about 10 years for about boards and other things to take on the risk appetite. But I definitely think that that's increasing. And of course, we've had a lot of FUD around the regulatory thing as well. So I still think we're only about 20-25% into the institutional adoption. I think we'll have to break 10 cents to start the next breakout, says Kate Figure. Let's jump through some of this. PSI says, due to continued DCAing, I'm now in the black on Hex. I didn't need to run to 17 cents to counter all the bad crypto investments that got me wrecked. Bring on V3. That's pretty funny, V3. We definitely wish you the best on that one. Obviously, everybody's bags to be pumped. Just the way it goes. GG and Hex in house. Love you, Superman. Hey, right back at you. I do appreciate all the support in the community. And as you guys know, I say it all the time. We're all on the same journey, and I might as well YouTube it. That's kind of the phrase now. Definitely smash the like button as well. Yeah, the Gwei's been very high today. The chain was slow earlier today, and it's been the Gwei's been very high, that's for sure. Blobfish King says a lot of small buys and sells, 1,000 to 15,000 Hex. Yeah, that's the retail book there, Blobfish King, most of the time. All right, let's get into it. So this is the big news that we had from Richard today. Woohoo! Rock on. Bring on Richard. The timing was fantastic too. And let's have a look at this thread, actually. Let's pull this on. I might actually pull this out, and we're going to zoom in on this. This is the thread there 9 hours ago. Less than 1 million blocks to go. I'm going to zoom on this a little bit here. Less than 1 million blocks to go on stage 7 of 16. So stage 7 of 16 of the Aragon client sync. Remember, we've got two different type of clients. We've got the execution clients and the consensus clients. The execution clients are Geth and Aragon, and of course our two consensus clients are Lighthouse and Prism, particularly Geth and Prism being the two dominant ones there. So less than 1 million blocks to go on stage 7 of 16 of the Aragon client. So it does look like we will be going with 4 clients. That's a much faster move to launch. And of course, that means we have possibly less diversification. If you think about it, Ethereum has, like 5, 6 main different clients on the execution and consensus client frameworks, but I think that's a pretty good place to go. 2 and 2 seems pretty good to me, and so forth. So then we post us an update of the syncing, and in here we can see executed blocks here. We've got the block number was up to 14,872,000 at the time of this posting, with the height at 15,753,000. The block times were about 8.9 seconds in here, so this is pretty cool, right? So this is moving through step 7, phase 7 of 16 execution blocks. So there's a good chance that is, going to be finished within the day, or finished within the day. That's probably pretty cool. Of this stage 7 syncing, and of course we've got the other steps to do. So it definitely feels like it's getting closer. And of course we've got our poll at the moment. How close? You'll say. Obviously there's a lot of other stuff to fit around this. You got system state. You got to target the blocks, and you got your validators and nodes to set up your base nodes. So there's a bit of other work around this with all the 4 clients and so forth. So Block Explorer, all that stuff has to be done and pulled together. When do you think Pulsechain Testnet V3 will most likely launch? First half of February, second half of February, first half of March, second half of March or later. Get in there. We've got 101 votes, which is pretty cool. Reminds me of 101 Dalmatians, but hey, we're all human beings here. Anyway, so the next part here is what else? I was going to talk about anything else about that. I think that was it on that one. We've got I was going to talk about, we've got 160,000 views on that. Woohoo! Already. And it's only been out 9 hours. That's really cool. We're watching those view counts. Because you can imagine when Pulsechain goes live, like testnet goes live, we'll probably that'll be our first test to see, can we get millions of views on that going live, the public testnet V3. That's a very big clue. And I suspect that for the mainnet one, we will definitely get millions of views. That's significant. So it is not a little tiny project that we're launching here. It is a whole Pulsechain ecosystem. The next one, of course, was the Block Explorer integration testing. First time we'd seen this one. New indexing backend and contract verification infrastructure. And of course, look at this. Doesn't it look nice? It looks a better render of the V2. So let's have a look at our V2B one here. And you can see this is what we're operating at the moment. 3-second block times on the old proof of work. But here is the proof of stake. And it just kind of looks that next level poppy, doesn't it? With the colors there. I like it. We've got gas tracker, interesting here. 1.01 beat here. Interesting there. And with the terminology. And of course, we've got V3 up the top left there. We've got the V3 Beacon Explorer, obviously, here. Pulse Hex, Pulse Ramp. I've gone back to that Pulse Ramp name there. Sacrifice Checker. And of course, the testnet V3 Faucet, which is interesting. So that's going to be fun for the testnet there. And of course, we can see 10-second block times. Interesting also, we only have 6 wallets on here, so not a system state, is it? 6 wallets on here, and blocks there, 15,754 on the total blocks there. So that's interesting as well. We've got the block numbers on the left here, and of course, the transactions as well. So definitely looking forward to this getting set up. It's going to be fun to see that. So let me know if you've got any comments, if you've seen anything else that I haven't mentioned. Let us know. I think we've got a couple of comments in here, so we'll try and catch up with those. Give us another way horn. No, I'm not going to give you the horn. Oh, the horn came anyway. I don't know what happened there. Hardy Hex Lauren says, woohoo, the Green Hornet is doing everything in green right now. 3.1 cents on the run. Yeah, Hex is looking pretty good there. There it is, 3.174. That is looking very good on the Hex price there. What else there? We got J-Man is in the house. You definitely are in the house there, J-Man. And of course, V3 is coming indeed. Brennan says, how long has it taken to stage 7 of the block so far? And when do you expect to see a total of 16? I'm not sure what the other phases, how long they will take. I know that the big one is the stage 7, that sinking level. The other ones probably are faster. Like I say, there's a system state. They've got a target block height, and the validators and the nodes. So I know that much about that. So that's kind of where they're going to do. I actually might go through the 16 steps. I haven't actually been on that page yet. So I did post that the other day, but I haven't actually talked about it on YouTube. Kate Figure says, I was thinking late March, early April, says Kate Figure. It might happen there. That's option number 4. Sandy Beach says, I'm thinking V3 by April and then launch maybe during the summer. Oh, I know. I don't know a dev. Sandy Beach, all the ladies, all the lovely ladies know the devs. Haven't you seen all the stuff on Twitter? Apparently the only way to get updates from devs is to be a lovely lady, as they say, or something to that effect. Brennan says Beats is the equivalent of Gwei for Pulse. Is that correct? Yeah, that's what I understand on that one, Brennan. Hex and RH has been my crypto savior. I stopped chasing pumps and getting dumped on. Slow and steady wins the races. PSI, absolutely. And you need the Trayvon pause sample. Yeah, I've talked about that in the past. I don't actually have the pause, but I might get that and maybe upload it possibly. It's definitely a chance I could do that. All right. I like that. That's pretty funny. All right, let's move on. Let's get to serious. So this is pretty cool. We've had the update here, 58,000 views on this one. Pretty exciting. Let's see what people have got. Good news from Jofus. So this stuff's going to pump as hard as, he says. So lots of people are excited about this. Very, very cool. It's always good. We've got Tangent in there. Whee! Hexkin Girl as well. Brian Green there as well. So lots of people are pretty happy about that on the old Twitter, as you can see. Lots of people are very excited. Very, very neat there. RH Max there, great box. So cool stuff happening. A lot of people are pretty excited about that. And of course, let's have a quick look on this one. And did I get the copies up there? Yeah, I did. I think they've done that one. So very exciting news, folks, from Richard Hart. Very cool indeed. And it is definitely getting closer. So if we go back to the Hex chart here, I've still got the time zone. Let me get rid of the RSI. And let's pull up the time zone here. So I've still got the time zone here, February into halfway through March. So that's option 1, 2, and 3 to get the testnet V3 out. So that still feels pretty good. And I've still got the Pulsechain launch here, out in April, May here. And of course that could always shift, right? So this is the kind of the earliest case that I can see. Obviously, depending on when the Pulsechain V3 testnet comes out, right? Because I'm expecting that to last at least 6 weeks, but it could last 2 to 4 months. So I think it's going to be on the shorter side of that time frame. But that still leaves us in the first half of the year. Even if we have to move this to June, say, move that to June, that still feels pretty good. So that's kind of the earliest scenario. Some people have a later scenario. Some people have like September also. I'm a little bit more bullish than that, given all the updates and where things we're heading. And it really does depend. If we've just got those 4 clients and they have done everything pretty well with the coding, and they've got all the computer nodes talking to each other and everything like that set up, then that's pretty cool. We don't forget to get this PulseX and the AMM bot. All that stuff's got to run together. The official bridge. There's lots of these things that are going to happen when mainnet launches. So it's a bit of a orchestra, as it were. You got to have all those pieces together. So pretty good. It looks like it's going pretty good though from the core part. Now we've got our Fed hike here. We got that today. We might get another one in March, possibly in May. That could be the top of our terminal rate, and that launches pretty well here with a launch at the earliest case launch that I see in the first half there. So feeling pretty good about that at this stage. Let's finish the poll. We've got 110 votes, so we're going to find out what the results are there. And let's pull up. Can I pull those up on here? I don't know if I can pull them up on my studio. We've got our Michael in the house there with the rockets. Yeah, I like it. Superman and the gang. We're definitely having a great show today. It's a lot of fun for sure. Let me just jump through some of that. AK says the V3 in February launched before May. 10 cent Hex will be here sooner than people think. Bulls are back and leave in Q2. Q2 2025 only, says AK. Nice one, AK. AK is very knowledgeable, so that's a very good opinion coming in there from AK. When do you think Pulsechain testnet v3 proof of stake will most likely launch? First half of February, 34%, so 1 in 3 people. And bullish, I think I'm feeling good in that camp too. So I'll put myself in that camp. Second half February, 31%. They may end up being right, but I'm still going to stay in the first half camp. And when I say first half, I mean before the 15th, so probably on the later end of that period. First half of March, 20%, 1 in 5. So hey, you could very well be right in second half of March there or later, 13%. I think that's least likely, but still possible, still plausible. And so maybe you get bonus cred if you get right on that one. So it's 110 votes. It's pretty good. Results, appreciate it. I love the voting. You guys know I love my polls on the channel chat there, so it's pretty cool. All right, that's the big stuff from Richard Hart. A big shout out to Richard Hart because that's some cool, nice little updates. That's what the people wanted, and he listened. And of course, we get lots of excitement about that. Very, very cool. Well done, Richard. So nice one there. I know you guys are clapping at home. I know some, at least, probably 1 in 5 are clapping at home right now. That's just the way it goes. All right, cool. Let's move away. We've got Toby 1 in the house, and of course in the chat there with the lovely super sticker asked a question about his price prediction. What I thought, I had seen this price prediction, breakout March 2023, and of course looking very good for that, isn't it? At the moment, that part there looks like that's good as gold. Test all-time high by July 23. That is extremely bullish. And of course, I probably wouldn't agree with that, but I certainly feel that we will be challenging that 20 cent range with the Pulsechain launch, maybe 30 cents. It's kind of where I feel we might be able to get up to that. Now, the question you got to ask yourself all the time is where does the money come from? And of course, we'll need millions of dollars. Obviously, as we get a higher price, it becomes easier to do that with the AMM. But of course, we need millions of dollars in there. Now, we'll be looking to do a video on that, so I'm not going to talk too much about it because I've been meaning to do that for some time. But $1 million, I expect, can flow in from at least 5 different sources, and I will look to talk about that. So that's pretty cool. All-time high, yeah, not expecting that by July, but Pulsechain will give us pretty strong price performance in there. I think we've still got a lot of liquid. That's the problem. We've still got a lot of liquid, and we've still, I think, the stake profile for Hex is looking pretty good. We're still about 4 billion in short stakers. Some of them may take advantage of a higher price pump. That's my resistance on that side. So it really is obviously a demand supply there. And I can speculate on some of the demand side, but just don't know how much that will actually come in. So I will do a video on that. That's kind of where I feel there at the moment. But I'm feeling pretty good on a Pulsechain launch of 20, 30 cents. Definitely plausible with the millions of dollars coming in. Now, obviously, the higher base we have before that, the higher, more likely this would be. And of course, you could very well see an all-time high. So it's not out of the ballpark at all, but that's kind of where I feel about that at this stage. It's definitely possible on this one. And measured move to $10 to $12 by December 23. I think this is too high. I think if maybe $3, $4 is definitely possible under the right circumstances. We do see the staking supply, staking ladder thinning out, and of course, we'll see the T-shares thinning out on the T-share side. But on terms of the Hex side, I do think that we've still got too much circulating supply, estimated around 15 billion. Obviously, a lot of that's inactive, active. A lot of it's held by large accounts, but it's still an issue there. So I still think we've got too much supply. I kind of feel that maybe our third mode, we could get that. And of course, we're going to get a copy of Hex on Pulsechain too, depending on when that launches. That's pretty important as well. So I'm probably more on the upside scenario of $3 to $4. I have done a lot of these pricing models myself, which I've never published on this channel, but it takes quite a bit of money to get up to $10 to $12. Now there are at least quite a few options that could get us there, so it's not out of the ballpark at all. I feel like this is kind of the third wave price rather than the next second wave in the March. So that's probably what I'd say there. $3 or $4 seems to be quite cool. I'm currently targeting about $1.30 is kind of where I'm heading at the moment, but $3 or $4 is definitely plausible. Now, under the right circumstances, we do see the staking supply ladder closing down, and the circulating supply is the biggest thing that we want. I think we need another round, maybe like the Hearts wallet, something like that, to soak up more Hex and circulating supply. And that could easily get us to $10 to $12. And so that's kind of after post-Pulsechain launch. It's kind of where I feel there, but definitely very ambitious. I like it. Definitely plausible. Definitely, I think we'll hit that in due time. I'm just not sure if we'll do that in this time frame. That's probably it. So December 23 to March 24, and maybe later in the year, maybe after. It depends on hot wallet coming out. That's really a defining thing for me. Obviously, the Hex Investment Trust is very important. The impact of the highest estates very important, and of course, obviously the biggest one, which is the obvious one, Pulsechain, is going to be ginormous. So if Pulsechain launches and is as successful as we think, then yeah, $10-12 definitely in the game there. And I guess you're meaning across both chains. I'm not sure if you're meaning both chains there. I would suggest that would be easier. That'd be $5 to $6, so that would be on both chains. Definitely doable by this top period if we get some of those things lining up like that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. A good thing about this is that you weren't predicting $1,000 or $10,000 or $1 million like we've seen in some forecasts in the past. So these prices are all doable. It's just you got to say where's the money coming from, and if you can firm that up, then that looks pretty good. But just in this time frame, I'm still only expecting $3 or $4, just because we get too many people selling into the price pumps at the moment, and we've got to go through waves of bull and bear markets to get through that. Just not quite sure we're quite up at this level yet. But hey, if we get all the people that we're expecting on the Pulsechain, if we get say 300,000 active daily users, then this price point is probably definitely in the ballpark. So yeah, if we get maybe less than 100,000 users a day active on Pulsechain, then maybe this is a bit too high. But yeah, if we get up that higher level, that'd be pretty cool. Now, if we get up to like Ethereum, where we're getting like 1 million transactions a day, or even Polygon, got to remember that Pulsechain will be cheaper. Then getting a certain amount of that's going to go into Hex, right? So no, it's going to be this will easily be doable on those upper ranges in my view. So that's pretty cool. Nice little update there from Toby1. Let me know in the chat there. Don't forget, I'll post the link to this so people can retweet that and go make their own comments. Bam. Let's play that out there. That is the tweet there. You can go and leave your comments, you leave your feedback, and I think it's a pretty good thing. I just think it's a little bit on the high side at the moment, but as we get more information, it may play out. Let me have a look here. Some of the other comments. Let me just come back here. We've got a couple comments in here. Let me just get too far ahead here. Lal says mid-March, right after the Uniswap expires, says Lal, for the testnet. I don't think so. We don't need optionality over that. We're going to have V2 for PulseX. So don't know if that will be the case. It's more if it's technically ready is the driver rather than the market or any of those technologies. Superman Pump says Michael. Lai says RH for the win, definitely. Coconut says, damn, I don't know about $10 December 23. I'm bullish, but not that bullish. Yeah, I'd probably have myself in the same camp there. Hey, look, it can be easily done if you've got the money. If you can work out where the money's going to come from. I do have 5 different sources. Some I've mentioned some of those, but yeah, that's what we get. A lot of the TA analysis is now this is a good analysis, but a lot of TA analysis is missing the demand side, right? So we see that all the time. But we do have the potential sources for that sort of price and higher. Not wishing to blow my own trumpet, but I called the second week a January pump in October. Just wasn't as big as I thought would, says Cape. You did indeed, Cape. I remember that. So big hats off to you. PulseX is going to do insane gains too. Says J-Man. PulseX is going to be crazy, man. PulseX will be crazy, I'm sure of it. It's going to have its ups and downs like anything, but it's now you've got PulseX stables and staking your pulse there, third-party dApps staking your pulse. You got the buy and burn. PulseX is going to be pretty crazy. After the AMM bot, we're going to have pretty similar public numbers for PulseX and Pulsechain. PulseX is going to be treated pretty well. The mega DEX, the super DEX as I call it. So the bear is getting sleepy, hibernating coming, says Daniel. What else there? Hopefully the bear is going to fall asleep, that's for sure. What would a T-share be worth at $10 to $12? I'm not doing it. Brendan, I did it yesterday. You know how to do all that stuff, Brendan. You can do the math. A $5 Pulsechain wow, says J-Man. Yeah. I'm looking at 1 cent to 10 cents on the Pulsechain at the moment, so that's where my price expectations are at the moment. So that's like 100x to 1000x. So I think that's right, fine. Hex at $1 would be awesome. Toby talking about 2026 in my opinion. Yeah, I think I think here's the thing. Yeah, I think that's probably a bit later, but then it depends on the Pulsechain, right? A Pulsechain is as big as on the bullish case scenario, then I could see the $10 to $12 quite easily at that time. And of course, we're expecting Pulsechain to launch in that period. If we get the Fed pivot as well, so there are a lot of factors supporting, that sort of higher price case, and that is, we get the Fed pivot at the end of the year as well. There's a lot of things could line up very nicely for a $10 to $12. That being said, I do think we've still got a lot of supply to eat through. The Hartwell would be a big deal. Imagine if we got rid of another $500 million, the public supply of that. That'd be very useful. Yeah, you didn't hear it from me. You didn't hear it from me though. Total agrees, says PSI. It'll be a rocky road up to over $1. Yeah, dollars the first psychological hurdle to get over. I have $1.30 in my head at the moment. But definitely $3 or $4 under the right circumstances is possible. If you said $10 to $12 on two chains, like you split that up, then it's possible under the full bullish case scenario. You have to add up all that bullishness. Over time, we could get up to $100 under the right circumstances. You've just got to think about where all that money's coming from. You can pull down the liquidity side of things. You've still got to have all that money come in. And then you've got to absorb not just the circulating supply, but you've got to absorb, stuff that's inactive that becomes active. You've got to absorb emergency stakers that, like we saw today, selling down for the pump on Hex. And the pump on Hex is currently at, let me have a look here, 3.2 cents. Man, oh man, this is a show for the. I'm trying to get through the show, but there's just so much good stuff happening. Crazy. We're having a good time. That's all that counts. A true mini sellers at 50 cents. Yeah, there will be a lot of sellers, particularly after the long bear market in Hex. There'll be a lot of sellers from that. Although, this is what I said about the derivatives. The derivatives of Maximus, COSA, Hedron, they have been amazing for Hex. Eating up close to 2 billion in Hex off the public circulating supply. It's like been a godsend after the Pulsechain and Pulsechain sacrifices. Really has been terrific. And of course, the Hearts wallet, we have that. I think it's probably going to be post after Pulsechain launches. That would make the most sense to me. So that would eat up circulating supply big time. Pulse EESS. I'd like to see it on both chains too, the ETH chain and Pulsechain for the sacrifice. That'd be pretty neat. I just need to get back to black so I can start talking to my wife about crypto again. I've been silent for over a year and it's killing me. Yeah, the bear market has shut your mouth a bit on that one there, PSI. That's funny. J-Man says RH for the Nobel Peace Prize. Maybe Richard Hart and his devs for the share rate. Maybe that needs to get a bit more kudos. I think there, Kyle Dev and others probably needs a bit of kudos as opposed to the Peace Prize, more the Economics Prize maybe. I'm getting tempted to claim a weight test, says Ashtree. Hey, look, if Obama that got the Nobel Peace Prize? If he can get it, then anyone can get it, right? Since he caused a lot of wars and deaths, I don't know how that worked. Appreciate the feedback. Total value across both chains is more easily reachable. But will so many bullish things timing up, truly going viral, get us there quicker than people think? I agree with you on that scenario. I think if all those things play out, then $10, $12 quite easy. You could even be talking $50, $100 is definitely plausible under the optimal thing there. So, but 10 to 12, I think that's pretty good on both chains. Definitely doable. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a video on the demand side. I just don't want to talk about it too much now. Given some basic stuff that people know. But Genuine says, do you think liquid loans in Power City doing the same thing with DeFi is beneficial? 100%, Genuine. 100%. That is so good news with the PulseX fork of Liquidity, doing a stable coin for PulseX. Fantastic. And of course, they're both got different in different lanes, right? They're in different lanes. One's in Pulse lane and the other one's in PulseX lane. Fantastic. We're going to have 4 stables at least that are native to Pulsechain, maybe 5. We will see. So it's going to be brilliant. And of course, I did say the other day, we've got about 51% of the stables in DAI at the moment. So what's going to be a big trading pair? Assuming it doesn't pivot that out of DAI, is that going to be a significant player in the early days? Remember, all these liquidity pairs need to be matched up, particularly Richard Hart's tokens, right? We're going to come back to the maxi stuff, but obviously Pulsechain is going to pump, Pulsex and Pulsechain are going to pump PLS, PLSX, Hex, etc. But I suspect we'll have two really good chains as well. I think it's going to be pretty good. Let me just jump back. Brazil says Bitcoin halving in about 1 year from now. Could see a good rally in the market in about 6 months. Definitely possible there. Today is a good day. You can't say much better than that. It is definitely a good day. 3.2 cents. We're definitely at 3.22 cents now, Briz. Slightly higher there too. Let me jump through all this. So many people are bought at 25 cents. They won't sell at 50 cents because they want to make more than 2x. That's true, Briz, but a lot of those people, many have probably sold at a loss, and some people have dollar cost average way down. So there's that to take into account too, Briz. Has been a long bear market for X, but there's not many coins that do a 10,000x, right? So you got to take that, put that in perspective. Bottom sellers wrecked, says Beno. Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy. Troy says, and we all think Hex is heading to $1 to make it high. Hey, look, I easily see with Pulsechain Hex going into $1. Like I said, I even see upside to $3 or $4 potentially with the Pulsechain. You know what crypto's like when the FOMO's on, and the biggest thing in crypto is Pulsechain. Remember, it's not just Pulsechain, it's the ecosystem. I always like to re-emphasize that. And of course, when the AMM bot runs, harvests those ETH pairs with PLS, locks it in the PLSX. Then we've got the bridge opening up. We bring over those stable coins. We match them up with those pairs. And then, of course, you bring the incentive token in. It's going to be crazy, man. People want that incentive token, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. MB says, good friend of mine with kind of insights that Binance and Bybit were buying this latest run up in a coordinated manner. Exchanges are way too powerful, to be honest. They are. Well, Bitcoin in particular, Binance in particular is super powerful now in crypto, especially after FTX and stuff fell away. Exactly, you don't insure all this for a messy 2x. That's true. People are going to do it though. When Hex hits 50 cents, Richard will announce the sacrifice to his wallet. No one will sell because they will sacrifice. Richard's brilliant. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good point. Finally, 3 cents. Congrats, Hex Token. Insert applause sample. Yeah, well, we definitely got that. You're welcome there. Toby1 says, hit the like, subscribe, and share. Got to support the good ones. Hey, thanks, Toby1. Appreciate that. PSI says, I'm honestly surprised that with so much money and extra time that Liquid Loans didn't do something to expand their offerings. Would have been easy for them to add PLSX. Missed opportunity. Hey, PSI, I still think that they're doing a lot of infrastructure. Gnosis Safe, Tello, Oracles, that's going to be useful for all the other DeFi players. I don't know. I think they're doing stuff around QL, Jard, or whatever. They've obviously got Liquid Loans, but I suspect that they'll do a lot more product building. There's still a lot of room in DeFi space, a lot of products. I mean, I pushed through the Power City about 15 to 20 different products, and many of those not even in crypto at the moment. So there's lots of room for innovation there. I wouldn't be surprised. Toby1 says, got to run. Dinner's on the table. Take care, everybody. Hey, Toby1, enjoy your dinner. And yeah, pleasure. Thanks for dropping in there. Cool stuff. And I appreciate Super Sticker as always. Catch you on the next one. Woohoo! All right. Uncle Will says, late night here. Usual. What's up, family? Good to see Uncle Will. Steak and chill, says Sandy. Definitely steak and chill. Uncle Will says, thank you for what you do, so man. Hey, you're welcome, man. Just like you guys, man. The only difference between you guys is that I decided to YouTube my journey on the Hex and the Pulsechain with you fellas as well, and fellas as we say down under. What type of pump would the highest stakes do as well if released? Just depends on the network and how they market it, I think, there, Dave, down under. So if we get multiple networks and good marketing with that, obviously online, everyone's going to market that online. But we're definitely going to get some buyers from there, right? And if we get tens of millions of viewers, that's going to definitely translate into some buying on X and Pulsechain in particular. So no, we'll definitely get some uplift from that. No one really knows the magnitude, but it could be some. You could do some basic. You could say 2%. You know, like if you had 10 million, 2% of that. You could say all sorts of speculation there. Pulsechain mooning is going to drag so many PLS projects along with it. Going to be epic. I agree with you on that. Wow, DO1 wrecked, says Xenologist. Definitely wrecked now. Blocked out there with the price pump. They'll be gutted actually because a lot of dollars in relatively speaking. People will sell at a 2x trying to buy again lower. Traders get wrecked. Now remember, DO1 still has something. Was it 12,000 T shares? out in like 2029 or something. Still has, and it's got some next year as well. So if it wanted to early instake, it could, but hey, we'll see. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Definitely join the Discord. MB says BTC is ridiculous because of the Fed joke. I stepped aside, lost 25% of Hex amount for the buyback. Pissed me off so much, says MB. All right, just remember family channel language, but I get your sentiment there. There's only 150 million Hex available to buy right now, says Benny. Let's actually go. We're going to go up to that. Let's move on. Sorry about this. We've had a few little slowdowns here, but we're going to keep going because we're having a time of our lives here with this pump. Let's jump away to Hedron. Hedron briefly. Woo-hoo-hoo! I feel like this was destiny. We've been talking about this. I talked about getting to 1700, 1800. We got to that. Now we're heading towards 2000. I said that was the next price part. That's kind of cool. We've got all the right things happening with the market and with the news around Pulsechain, testnet, and of course the market's pumping there on the old Hedron. So congratulations to everybody in Hedron. 1909, and of course you'd like to see it bust past 2000 and start marching back up to 3000, 4000. Let's have a look at 20 buys versus 25 sells, but the buy volume is the sell volume is actually 61%. Don't know how that worked out, but the last 6 hours is definitely changed. Oh no, this is incorrect. It's got to be incorrect. Something's wrong with that. I'm going to take that off. That does not make sense. But anyway, we've got a pumping price chart there. I'm not sure what happened to the data there. Let's jump into the Hex HSIs in the liquidation queue. 4,253 are in the queue here that have not yet been bought into the auction. You have to start the auction. But let's see how many we've got in live. We've got 18 live at the moment. 18 live. And of course, it's more expensive to get Hedron now. So these are more expensive than yesterday. And of course, we've got 18 in there. What do we got to up for grabs? Let's look for some big ones here. Just going through, we've got 32 T-shares closing in about 10 hours. Another 35 T-shares there. 36 T-shares, 35, 36, 36. We've got 45 T-shares here, so there's some decent sized ones there, all about 14 to 10 hours away. You can go bid on those. Now, we had a big one yesterday. Remember the 10 million Hex? That was a 1,200 T-shares. Now, somebody just won a giant 10.2 million Hex. This was yesterday. They paid about 110 billion Hedron, which is a big dividend day for Hedron stakers and ICOSA stakers and WhatsApp holders. Roughly $182,000 it cost them to win that. So you got 182,000, you could have bid on it too. Remember, it was 1,228 T-shares. It was a behemoth, and of course, really nice to get that. 5555 too, so maximum term. The principal plus accrued interest of the stake was worth about 296,000 US dollars. Obviously, that's just gone up. That's just gone up since then. And of course, they just got a huge, somebody bought a dolphin-sized position stake at 60% discount, while Hex is at 95% discount. And of course, after that, they bought it. The Hex prices rallied, so a good move. Obviously, Hedron rallied too, right? So the amount that they rallied there is important too. So just the way it goes, very, very cool. Hedron up 16.52% there. And of course, Hex there is up. How much is Hex up actually? 21% almost. Woohoo! So yeah, look at the buys, 387, 63% buyers, 387 versus 223 sellers on Hex. The buy volume, 2.1 million, 64% buy volume versus 1.1 million on Hex, and that is fantastic. Hex is looking glorious. Very, very nice. Let us get rid of all this stuff. Let's get rid of it all, and let's zoom in on this. Get there. That is Hex there, 3.264. Woohoo! We're getting up to the 3.3 mark. Like it. Breakout on X. Very, very cool. So that was a big T-shirt that someone got yesterday. I had to highlight that. And of course, Dev Huey says that in the last 24 hours, one WhatsApp NFT was burned. 957 million points there. We've still got 21,900 and 696 watts is left. So people are very happy with that. Now, more importantly, let's go to an update that Dev Huey had today. And this was the return that you got if you had your WhatsApp. Congratulations, WhatsApp minters and holders. WhatsApp NFTs are now 1x. So 1x return there, or 2x. I guess we're getting you back there. 1x, I guess we're getting your original amount there after 170 days of yield. So you managed to get your original back there. So now looking for 2x and 3x. And of course, this is the model here that he's got here. So well done, $1,620 on there. 1,620. Okay, so is it? Yeah. On a $1,000 yield, so pretty cool. I goes the total yield in dollars, so yeah, $1,600 there, pretty nice there, well done. So that is pretty much there on the highlights there. We're going to go look at some Pulsechain updates. Now, obviously, I said we're going to have some insights into this, so let's talk about it. Let me just get rid of this comment that I accidentally left on. I was doing pretty well up till now with the comments. PSI says Suman is the only Democrat I listen to on YouTube. You abomination. I don't follow the evil people. I don't follow the evil people. Superman for Prime Minister in New Zealand says that's true. I would do an amazing job as Prime Minister in New Zealand. Hey, look, if you can have some activist Labour Party person from the old UK cabinet wreck our country, I'm pretty sure with my multi-economic degrees and the rest of my background, which I keep anonymous, I could definitely do that. So that's fun. All right, so cool. What else have we got there? Did some people say Hedron? Says Wookie. I did indeed. Wookie is our Hedron Akosa man. The person who grabbed the 10 million Hex HSI would be laughing right now at a 30%, 7% discount and price pump. I know. A net price pump and the discount huge, massive. Best show today. Good coverage on all topics. There's Property View. I appreciate that. Big shout out to you. Check out Property View channel if you haven't already. Amazing show there with mansions, mega mansions. With announcement of public testnet v3, Hex will go to 7 to 10 cents. And once we get the announcement of mainnet, Hex price go 20, 30 cents. That seems reasonable to me. It could do well higher than that. So this is just based on where we're looking at the moment. If things are even better then you can raise those prices. That's pretty much it. So we're just taking on the information we have today. So far, we've been pretty good calls on the prices so far. The only, I think, error that we've made last year was the Hedron. That was just because the minting was just too big on the old Hedron and the news came down. And yeah, so we only got a $500 billion burn on the Hedron. Remember that last update by the end of the year, which was on the low side, right? So just the way it goes. I did the math. They got 10.2 million Hex for about 1.7 per Hex. Francis in the house there with the fires. Good to see you, Francis, as always. So that doubled the bag with today's rally. I know, Briz, amazing. Really, really good play there. They're going to be pretty happy. Now, it is a 15.2-year stake, so they've got to sit on that beautiful baby. But, of course, we're expecting Hex to go higher over time. KD just gifted 5 Hex token memberships. Who got them? Let's have a look who got those memberships. Let's see. We got Infertel Limit was gifted one. Honey Drippers, well done. We got Ash got one too. Francis got, Charity got one. And finally, Timmy the Outdoor Barber got one. So congratulations to all 5 of you. Now, if you want to join as a member of this channel, hit the join button. We've got Pulsechains, Hexkins, and Rich Heart Club. And you can support this channel. We live stream every single day. And of course, we do short-term videos as well. We've got another one coming out this afternoon. So look forward to that. Let me just jump through some of these comments. We're going to get into our Pulsechain updates. France says, hi, Superman. Hi to you. And I think that's good. Let's get into it. We got Power City here. So this is one of our AAA projects that is building on Pulsechain. It is a very important team. I'd like to see, man, if we could have, I'm not going to be greedy, but let's see, if we say we had 5 teams like this, it'd be awesome. Now we do. I think we do have 5 teams like this. So let's imagine if we had 10 teams like this, it'd be amazing. It'd be very, very cool. So let's look at Power City. This is from Toshi Flow. Power City is building a multi-chain bridge for Pulsechain. This is going to be super, super duper. Obviously, we've got our official Pulse Ramp one. Imagine this one here, multi-chain, awesome. So more decentralized, bridging between 20 plus chains. The bridging NFTs as well. Great. Moving between 15. So we need the NFT market, right? It's huge in crypto. So that's awesome. Move in between 15,000 tokens. OMG. Like I've said in Pulsex, we could have 7,000 to 8,000 flourishing actively traded tokens. Imagine that. That is major economic power. We get something like that. That'd be awesome. But this here, you can move 15,000 tokens. That helps with that sort of outcome. Really, really cool. No token wrapping either. No protocol-owned liquidity either. Buy Pulse in one transaction as well, making it super easy for onboarding people, particularly people new to crypto. So that is very, very exciting. Look at that. That's something from Power City. Now, they're going to continue to make new projects and pull it into their system. That's how the system's designed. They have their core where you stake the Watt token, and the sacrifice is still open, so you can still participate in that. I think it is the best project to get Pulse out of that. The other strategy you could do is obviously dry powder and look for the dips in the Pulse chain. Dips in the chart. Good luck. We just don't know what it's going to be incredibly volatile, but there'll always be big, large accounts like DO1 that are willing to sell down. I think DO1's like number 8 on the sacrifice list for Pulsex, Pulsechain, somewhere in that ballpark. And of course, there's always whales like that. They're going to redistribute their tokens. So maybe they might change their strategy a little bit with the old Pulsechain, but that's what we've seen so far. So yeah, pretty awesome. Now the other cool thing I thought was here from Crypto Crazy, the CEO of Liquid Loans. This was a very nice little insight here, not one that many people have been talking about. I'm sure it's been mentioned before, but not mentioned. This is very well summed up. Once merchants start accepting decentralized stable payments, obviously Liquid Loans is forking liquidity and going to have USDL. And of course, Power City recently announced they're going to be forking liquidity, or they did a couple of months ago to do Pulsex as a stablecoin, backing stablecoin. And of course, this is huge, right? So imagine stablecoins being accepted more and more for merchants. That is awesome. It will be game over for CBDCs. But of course, this is going to take a lot of education, a lot of business development, and of course, a lot of people using it. So there's a lot of things to go into that. But I really like this comment. I thought it was really cool. And no one will care for off-ramps. Don't you like that? No one will care for off-ramps. Off-ramps are definitely needed now, but that is pretty cool. Remember, Richard Hart's verticals are Pulsechain, PulseX, and on-ramp, off-ramp. And perhaps optionality is in a better MetaMask. And of course, we do have internet money that's coming in there. And maybe we'll have the art wallet as well. That is the play. All right, so cool. That is Crypto Crazy. Very, very cool update there. This is probably an era of development that we need to do for Pulsechain over a multi-year period. And sooner than later is always best. So it's kind of cool. All right, so Coast also has given a lot of updates on another big team. So we talked Power City, talked about Liquid Loans. Now we've got Coast. Coast there doing the on-ramp, off-ramp, and stablecoin CST. So we've got 3 stablecoin providers from 3 of our top teams. And of course, Coast is about to not only say something, but they're going to do something, because they're going to be launching on Ethereum very soon, where you can bridge on-ramp and get USDC. But you can buy Hex with that, of course. And of course, you don't have any, you get to own the keys to your coins, right? So you're not going through an exchange. You don't lose ownership of your tokens. It's kind of neat. So our fiat on-ramp on Pulsechain will require native fiat-backed stablecoin. We have been thinking CST, Coast stablecoin, but we'd like to know what you think. Tell us what the name you like best. Thanks. CST, USDP, PUSD, so Pulse USD, or USD Pulse, other please. I actually like Coast. I don't know why I've just got used to that, but I mean, USD Pulse is kind of cool too. Pulse USD is very, very cool. So I'm actually a little torn between that because I got so used to saying Coast. I'm going to post the link to that. Go and vote. Go and vote, because that's called Coast poll, and vote for that, because I think that's pretty important. That is the post there, and definitely do that. Let me just jump back to some of these comments. I don't want to get too far away ahead. We're up to how long in the live stream? An hour and 27, so we'll be wrapping up shortly. Let me get back up here. We got Archipelago says Hex price prediction December 2023, $5,000. I like that. PSI says it's really easy to stream on a day like today, but I don't think you've given enough credit for streaming on all those days when Hex was struggling. Awesome work, Superman, a true crypto crack. That says PSI. I agree with you on that one. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. You're most welcome. Wookie says that HSI also had 18,950 ICOSA that came with it. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, well done on that one, Wookie. Yeah, DC is ridiculous right now. Decimus is way discounted at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how long that lasts, because that is sitting there for people. Obviously, people can go for the Hex HSIs as well. There will be some sort of, I would thought, convergence at some stage. I dream a day without off-ramping, says Brennan. Yeah, off-ramping as for normies. Don't be a normie. Yeah. 100% on Superman streaming through the bear market. You're a real MVP, Superman. I appreciate that, Brizology. Big shout out to you. All right, you too, Briz, because you've been streaming too on all the stream channels. All right, so our fiat on-ramp is not an exchange. We want to provide an alternative to centralized on-ramps like Binance, Kraken, etc. You transfer your fiat and mint your own stablecoin. That is pretty cool. So some cool stuff there. USDC on Ethereum and Coast on Pulsechain, with Ethereum going to be launching soon. So we're looking forward to that. So what am I going to vote here? I do like Pulse USD, actually. I kind of like that. Pulse USD or USD Pulse. I'll go for Coast, but hey, look, I'm torn between those top 3, and so is everybody else. Look, everyone else is torn too. Pulse USD, yeah, that's actually pretty attractive. That's at number 2. Very tight there. Hex has allowed us to learn the values of delayed gratification. We're going to jump through that. Now, okay, so a lot of updates here from Coast. Okay, when said our fiat on-ramp had been approved for England, we should have written the entire United Kingdom. If you're in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, you'll be able to on-ramp Ethereum and Pulsechain too. So bullish there. So very, very good on the upside. Fiat on-rate update 12 hours ago. So they've been flowing the news. I really do like how they talk about a lot of the stuff. We're in the early stages of establishing services for the Hex community in Estonia now. Last time we heard Brazil, remember yesterday, was it? Now we're talking about Estonia. Remember, we're launching on Pulsechain and then Ethereum and then Pulsechain. Very cool. What else there? Fiat on-ramp update again 3 hours ago. Users on Ethereum will mint USDC into their own wallets, but don't worry about the ETH gas fees, especially in bull market. The fee cost is covered by the platform and isn't passed on to the user. Our goal is to make Hex easier to buy. So that's good news there. I think that's really we're up to on this one. Not sure if they've got other updates. Let me jump through that. That is pretty much it. So that was Power City, Liquid Loans, and Coast. 3 of our AAA projects building utilities onto Pulsechain. Awesome. Now, Hex price at the moment, 3.254 cents with a high so far of 3.287 on this massive run-up. Really has been a beautiful breakout here. And, of course, above that resistance line, we are safe up above there at the moment. Very, very cool. Now, Hex daily stats, we've got day 1157 hot off the press. And let's see what it is. The 1st of February, 2023. We're up 16.8%. Yay! You got to give a shout out to that. That is so, so good. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is so good. All right, so we're up 16.8% today. We've got the Hex payout 6.32. So we've got price appreciation and yield looking very, very nicely there. If you're staked with your T-shares, the share rate up 1.8 to 25,665. T-share price there $813. The average stake length there was 6.52 years. The APY rate 36.45% for the average stake length there. Obviously, people got a lot of earlier T-shares and stuff as well. Remember that share rate. Liquidity in the pool, OMG. Look at this. Someone mentioned this earlier. That was down to 150. I think it was might have been Brennan possibly. 135 million Hex down there. That's crazy. There may have been some liquidity provider pools as well. And I think there was one of them ended up pulling their liquidity and buying Pulse. Can you believe it? They pulled their liquidity and they pulled their liquidity in Hex, and I think that was, and they bought Hex with it, I think. So they ETH out of it. So they took the ETH out, bought Hex there. So crazy. Now let's jump over to the T-shares, down 12,000 T-shares today. Remember we had that big, was it 500 million Hex come out on the stake. So that's down 12,000 T-shares. We're sitting at 10,282,000, and we've got the Hex Godwell coming out on the 14th there. So that's coming up too, not so far away. Let's have a look at the percentages. 10.08% of Hex is staked. We've got 1.3 million Hex in penalties. And of course, that's a good day in the office. Our growth is growing, up 115 on Etherscan to 317,580 wallets. Our stakers are up 18 to 118,148. Our holders are up 240 to 526,423. And that is day 1157. And of course, we are now in the third. Are we in the third? Yeah, the third month of year 4. Welcome everybody. We are growing up here for sure. That's pretty cool. So I guess it's today. Yeah, today we're now in 1158, the third month of the 4th year for Hex. Rock on, let's go. And of course, what a good time it is with the Hex price breaking out of that key resistance zone, 2.8 to 3.1 cents. Next target for me is 3.6 to 3.8, and that's looking pretty good. So let's see how we get on there. And of course, if you take the Fibonacci from the top to the bottom there, that will give you that zone. So let's have a little look here at the Fib. Let's put that up on here, bam, and let's take that. So yeah, we got 3.7 here, the mid-range, then 4.3 here, looking pretty good, and then of course 5 cents after that. This kind of seems like the natural reflections there. Nice on that one. Let me, that's pretty much it. How to get rid of it? I can't remember. I'm blocked, don't lock myself out. No, that's all right. Well, delete that. All right, so that's where we are. Looking really, really good. What a move today. It's unbelievable after all the pain that we've been through, all the days that we've been crying on the channel. We don't cry on this channel, I'm just kidding. But, okay, I can't believe it. It's happiness tears. It's happiness tears. Right. It's a no drama channel. We're supposed to have no drama on this channel. But we did anyway. All right, let us jump back up to some of the comments here. We're up to an hour and a half, so I've got to wrap up, that's for sure. Let me go through some of these final comments as we finish up here. We've got Hex looking very, very nice there. Let's go to the 15-minute chart and get rid of the overlays. That's our 15-minute chart. That's insano in the braino. That's our 15-minute chart. That is some crazy looking chart there. Let's jump back here. Briz is awesome, says Sandy Beach. Briz is awesome. Who else is there? Wow, didn't realize the Dixie woke up way lower, says MB. Anyone think Hex has another leg down? Definitely possible, but the higher we are, the better for the next run. So I think it's getting less likely now. Coconut is the way I put that. Big gap, says MB. Coast is killing it. Yes, they are doing a great job there, especially on the social media, right? So that's doing great there. Coast is working at ludicrous speed, says PSI. Yeah, I would say that Coasters and Power City is it's looking very, very good indeed. Now, there's a lot of infrastructure sitting in behind some of these dApps as well, so we've got to remember that, but definitely looking very cool. Hex Bear could be over and out. The rest of the market can sell back down, but Hex is out of the big dumpers for now anyway, but we shall see if any new ones come out of the woodworks, is Benny. Benny says, a reason I say that is we've seen that before, says Benny. Completion, please, as always happy to be here to support where I can. That's true. What else? Let's jump through some of this. No crying in crypto, says Sandy Beach. Yeah, no haters tears. No haters tears. I have got to pull that video in, but it's hard to pull that video in. Brennan says retest the resistance line. A further move up would be good. Yeah, that's what I was hoping that we would, kick it up. If we kicked it up to 2.6, 3.6 to 3.8, and then we bounce down back off 3.1, that would be all right, wouldn't it? But hey, who knows what we might do now. It could be pretty exciting. Stairway to Heaven, says Smog. Definitely Stairway to Heaven. Smash the like button. Definitely smash the like button. And of course, don't forget, if you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button too. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for future videos. And of course, if you want to join as a member of this channel, hit the join button. We've got Pulsechain, Hexkins, Richard Hart Club. But the best of all is that if you join our Discord, it is free. And of course, you get the best information. We've got all the links you could possibly imagine for Hex, Pulsechain, and of course, all the Pulsechain projects. We have two discussion groups. We have the Richard Hart discussion groups, which is our main chat. And then we also have the Pulsechain project chats as well. And you can talk about other tokens. We're pretty relaxed about what you can talk about. Why? Because we love freedom, and this is crypto. So we like that sort of stuff as well. Now, we are focused on crypto value and crypto, not so we don't do the drama stuff. And we try to be a family channel as well, to be welcoming to new people to the Pulse and Hex community. So a big shout out to you all. Welcome, we say. I love that mug, says S-Tree. Love that mug. Yeah, super agree, says Brennan. Nice. All right, so we're going to, this chart is looking ludicrous. This chart is looking ludicrous. Look at that thing. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Looking nice there on this chart, man. That is looking epic. And of course, we bounced off. So far, the high is 3.287 cents. We're currently at 3.23 and looking very, very cool. Let's go to the 4 hourly. There's a bit of time for a trader look here. And let's pull up the RSI. RSI is in overbought territory. Brennan did talk about this before. So we could expect a little bit of profit taking up here. But hey, look, we may end up, if we do push up to straight away rather than consolidate, and we do draw up to 3.6 to 3.8, and then maybe some profit taking after that. That's definitely still plausible. We could stay up a little bit in the oversold territory if we do get that. The volumes are definitely dropping off here, so that may be less likely. So maybe we'll just consolidate here a little bit or take a bit of a profit taking. We have to see the volumes here on the 4 hourly just dropping a little bit here. We will see. You just never know. Very exciting, man. What a great day. Couldn't have asked for better, right? Today has been absolutely glorious. And more importantly, I think, is the fact that, the higher price hexes, if we do get any bad news in the future, either from crypto or whatever, that, we've got a higher base to fall from, which is much better. Imagine if we got 1.7 cents and you fall for 1.7 because of bad news. It's much better to fall from 3.5 cents than 1.7, right? So there's a little bit of good stuff there too. All right, let's have a look at crypto markets. We've got BTC at 24,000. Woo! Hot dog. Up and away. Man, BTC smashing it. 25K, man, is the next target, right? 25K is the next target there. ETH, 1665. And man, if ETH hits 1800, then Hex is going to absolutely moon, honestly. If Hex gets over 1800, Hex will moon. If we do this in this weekend, it could do it in the weekend. If we get good news flowing through from the tech companies tomorrow, we could still get a really incredible weekend coming up here, folks. this may not very well over. And if ETH gets to 1800, the Hex price could really rocket from here. We definitely have 5-cent target, definitely possible. So 3.6 to 3.8, then 4.3, then 5 cents. Those seem to be the three natural targets ahead of us. And of course, that would get us back to where we were on the previous high. And so forth. So cool. Now we're still, remember, we're still a bit of a way from let me bring back the overlays because I want to talk about that. So let's get rid of the RSI and pull this in. So I'm going a bit longer than I normally do. Normally I try to go an hour and a quarter, but we are doing a mega live stream from the looks of it at the moment. To get out of our long-term, the long-term resistance for our bear market and Hex is in blue. And to get over that at the moment, based on today, like if we were to do it today, would be 8.3 cents. That's where we're looking at the moment. So like I say, I think the best case scenario is 3.69 at 3.6 to 3.8 at the moment, with 3.7 as the midpoint. Next is 4.3, and then a 5 cents, which is the top of this last peak that we had. And of course, we've already broken out of here, so that's positive out of our short term. So that is beaten out now. So you could take that away, and now we've up and away here. So that is kind of the next play. There's the ultimate move out of that. Definitely doable, and could happen in a faster period of time. Now, if we get 1800 on an ETH, we could easily start to attack these higher levels. So stay tuned for that. We might see some insane stuff happen on the chart here. Could be pretty cool. Maybe something like that. All right, that is pretty much it on that one. Let's jump out of here. Hedron at 1900. Let's get out of here. I've got to wrap up. I have gone for an hour and 40 minutes because why? We all love this stuff, and it's not every day we get a super day like today. Today is of significance in the Hex chart. Really cool. Family channel and no drama channel, absolutely lies. That is true. And Sandy Beach says, oh, with a picture of me too. Loz says Sandy Beach. We're looking forward to you hitting up to 4,000 followers on Twitter there, Sandy Beach. That's your next goal. 24,000 on, I know, it's crazy, isn't it, on the old Bitcoin. And 25K has got to be the next one, right? That's on the chart. Hex at the moment, 3.2 cents. Brilliant. Amazing stuff there. All right. Live Sydney says, don't go yet. Wait for 25K at least. I don't know. Is it going to do it while I'm on live stream? It's just at 24. I'm not sure if it's going to do it straight away on live stream. Hey, look, I may very well do another live stream later on today because I did want to cover another topic. So, hey, maybe I'll come back later in the day. Some of you may be asleep by then, though. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up, though. Let us see here. Let's hide the comments and let's play this out here. Let me rewind. All right, take care, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this absolutely bomb live stream. Oh, wait. Don't go. We got the price just went to 3.3 cents. Oh, my God. It's crazy, man. The price just went to 3.3 cents. Hex is on the move here. And, of course, now our next target is that 3.6 to 3.8 range. We just hit this range, this target here. This was our soft target at 3.3. And, of course, now we're on the move. Man, we may very well get that super move today into that target rate. Get up to 3.6 to 3.8, subject to what the market's doing, and then pull back down. A bit of profit taking, and bounce off there. So kind of what I expect to see happen there. Whew, man, crazy stuff there. The chat's going crazy. 3.3 cents. You're right, it is 3.3 cents. Thanks, Superman, says KD. Very nice show, says probably view. You're welcome. Stream until 5 cents. Yeah, too much. I got to have a break. I do have to have a break here. Life says, I told you, play some clips. Give us more minutes, says Lies. Hey, look, I may come back on later on today. We'll see how everything plays out. But 3.3 cents is happening. And, hey, ETH has got to move. If it gets to 1,800, the Hex price could go that 5 cent mark. That's in play, man. Maybe 4.3, definitely. 5 cents, definitely doable on a super move. Obviously, some profit taking coming in there after that. It's just too tempting for people. So just remember that. All right. We're wrapped up here. All right. Take care, everybody. Subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye for now. An hour and 45. Is that pretty good for a live stream? I think so. Take care, everybody. See ya.